Before we get started, I just want to thank a few people. First of all, the Good Food Store and Community Medical Center sponsored us this year, and that way we were able to provide scholarships to kids who needed them to come to camp. And also Mary and Dave Dixon, who are in the back, sponsored us, and Cheryl Nosey. So thank you guys. And then I also want to thank our partners. Mountain Lion Bus was the way we got around this year, and the Museum of Art and Culture lets our students come and look at all of their artwork and write. And then Fort Missoula Historical Museum and the Watershed Education Network. And of course, all of our amazing campers for coming to read your poetry. Thank you guys so much. It's always such a pleasure to listen to you guys. I learn a lot about poetry from you. So I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl. Cheryl looks surprised.
I'm always surprised, babe.
And maybe you could just give us a little background on the collaborative.
Sure. 21 years ago, I moved here from New York City, and I didn't want to be a waitress. I had worked in New York City in the South Bronx through Teachers and Writers Collaborative for 5 years, and they sent me to a subway stop at my first school in the South Bronx where they had a big drum, steel drum burning, and guys keeping warm, and a three-legged dog, and the churches had burned, the houses had burned. And I went back down the subway and I said, I'm in the wrong place. And the guy goes, yeah, so? So I went back up and I walked past a crack house and I got to the school. And there I discovered that kids are always beautiful no matter where they live. And it ended up, those kids in those South Bronx schools would walk me to the subway so I wouldn't get hurt. Here I am, I'm white, I got a Visa card. These kids had nothing. They were in the South Bronx, and yet they walked me to the stop. So I came here, and there was no writers in the schools besides the Arts Council, which only did like 6 to 10 weeks. I wanted to be in a program where we had at least 12 visits with each group of children so that they could really find their voice and hear each other's voices and get sensibilities about writing and be exposed to lots of writing. And so with the help of a number of people, we started the Missoula Writing Collaborative in 1994. And our writers are still with us because people don't leave the collaborative. Robert Lee, how long? 18, 19?
19 this year.
Yeah. And we're going to do a panel tomorrow at 9:30 at Shakespeare & Company. And it's based on teaching kids. How do you get kids to love to write? And so we'll be, the 4 writers that we'll be presenting have 75 years of teaching poetry in the schools experience. Isn't that incredible? And
We're old.
we were trying to add it up. We were in a bar. And so I said, well,
Math.
Yes, exactly. So first we've got 60, Robert's writing and erasing, 72 years of experience. So the first school that where I worked was Prescott Elementary, which was next to my house. And we used to walk by the school, my husband and I walking their dogs, and I'd say, Bob, I'm gonna own that school. I'm gonna run that school. Well, I volunteered to teach poetry. And I got such a fabulous reception. I was there for 12 years until they closed it. And 1 year, there was a boy in 4th grade who was always in the detention closet, which unfortunately was also the broom closet, and it smelled like floor cleaner and floor wax and brooms, and he's always in there. And so I said, well, why is Nathan? And they went, well, he's here from a group home, and he's trouble, fights. He just wants to fight everybody. So I did a poetry workshop with this group, and I said, this is free writing. Tell me what you think. And don't interrupt yourself, and you don't have to use commas or periods. Just free write. There's more writers coming in the door. Oh, perfect. And so, this is what he wrote for me. Why is it snowing? What am I thinking? The principal just came in, and he said, I want you in my office. What am I doing here? How did the world start up? Why did I wake up in my brother's dirty laundry? Why am I alive? Why does it have to be me that has to be getting glasses? Why don't I be the same as everyone? Why am I a foster kid? Why didn't Mom be normal? Why were we so poor? Why does she like drugs? Why don't I live in a normal family? Why don't I have any friends? Why do I think of so many things? Why am I not like everyone else? Why is everyone smarter than me? Why don't I know my parents? Why doesn't Mom and Dad want me? Why didn't they want us? Why don't I know how to swim? Why are my ear tubes taken out? Why do I write so big? Why is it snowing? These are things that I am thinking of in my head. So the teacher and I took them home to the principal. The kid was never in the detention closet again. He got counseling. So years later, I'm walking in our neighborhood, and somebody drives by in a car, and a teenage boy is waving out the window like that at me, and I go, Nathan! And then he was gone, and I never saw him again. But this transformed his life, because kids don't know. You gotta tell somebody. You don't have to keep a secret, and it's not your fault. And so once they're able to express themselves, they're just so much more successful in every bedroom. And I know that because I didn't come from a foster home, but I came from a crazy home. Oh, you're gonna love this.
All right. So nobody signed up for number 1.
I know.
There's some new people that came in.
Oh.
Did you sign that up?
I didn't sign them up.
Number 1.
That's okay. We have a number 2. Daisy's number 2. Do you want to go first, Daisy? Are you ready? All right.
Do you have the paper? Should I sign those?
Go for it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Okay.
Cheryl.
Do you want to? Daisy, you want to go or you want to go? You can go first. Come on up.
Where do you want me, Rose? Where do you want to go?
Surreptitious, telling a lie or not, but still sly and sneaky, stealthy snake, surreptitious snake, under a rock, going to eat the mouse in the bush, on the log, right on top of the rock that the surreptitious snake waits in quiet for the mouse to jump off of the log so the snake can eat.
More!
So much depends upon a silver dollar moon, beaming back at you like a desolate Arctic fox. I didn't practice anything else. Red barn, green grass, old gate and mud. 3 black, 7 yellow, 3 black, 6 now, 9 chickens, 9 chickens, 9 chickens. Red barn, green grass, old gate, odd number of chickens, 3 black, 6 yellow, so now 9 chickens, 9 chickens, 9 chickens, 9 chickens. Gray stone with name carved upon to stay, half under the ground by the crowded red barn. On the green grass, old gate and mud, 9 chickens, 9 chickens, 9 chickens.
All right.
Our next
Good.
reader, after that 4th grade modernist poet, is Gabe Rail. Sorry, number 1 never showed up, so you have to go.
Oh, no. That's totally fine. Although, do you have something for me to read off?
Yes.
Yes, we have the anthologies.
Oh, yeah.
Carolyn got them here.
Here, this is
I'll just leave.
Just how much is in your head, right?
Do the mic. But they're better about the words of wings. Some of it.
Where poems hide. Poems hide in piles of discarded socks, heaped upon a child's bedroom floor. Poems hide in the pens of writers, waiting for the torrent of emotion to splash out, drop by drop. Poems hide in the crumpled up papers of lost stories, waiting for some writer to pick them up and continue. And that seems to be the only poem in the anthology.
How's your memories? Create one spontaneously?
I might embarrass myself today.
Good job.
Our next courageous author is Mayana Cantor.
This is called Jam and Pie. Jam and pie with a fork and spoon. Worms and dirt with a shovel and bucket. Acryl and ink with a piece of parchment. Beetles and bugs with a worm too. Fish and flies in the blue, blue sky. Wave goodbye and a wave and a bye. Dead as night. Boulders laying there, motionless, dead as night, casting shadows long and wide, sitting there in the open with thick trees all around them. Flies, nasty and annoying, getting into rotten food and compost, buzzing around your house with the fly swatter just floating there in the air, doing nothing.
You can always tell a real writer. They're reading off of pieces of torn up, drawn on cocktail napkins, doodles, and I just think it's so amazing. Thank you. Nice job. Our next author is Catherine Scobely. Do you need the box, honey?
I don't.
Let's try it without. You're pretty tall.
Waterfall, so full of noise but void of people. Water rushes over rocks and fallen logs. The roar drowns out the outside world. Suddenly it doesn't matter what people think of you. It's just you and the animals, who wouldn't care less if you were a person or a rock. Trees surround you full of chirping birds, telling one another secrets in their own language. Deer and squirrels pass by, only stopping to get a drink, running from the somewhat scary roar of water. You wonder what would happen if you fell in. As scared as it makes you, you still have to climb up the rocks and get as close to the water as you can, controlling yourself enough to not jump in. The calm whistle of wind blows through the trees. Suddenly you feel ready to face all of the world's problems. But you know that once you leave, that feeling will leave too, and you don't care. You're in the present, surrounded by all the plants humans have not yet destroyed, and all the animals brave enough to let you see them. You feel it everywhere, in the whisper of the wind, you're home. And this one is called Van Gogh. Sunflowers, yellow flowers bright as the sun. They came from a peaceful field before they were viciously ripped from their life source and put in a pot until they died, slowly and painfully with nothing but water to soothe them, and maybe the snoring and screaming of Vincent van Gogh, they guessed. They did enjoy watching the man's bipolar life. They'd see him painting things in the house, things like them, and sometimes instead they just see him shouting. Once he cut his ear off. He put it in a box for some reason. They never saw it again. They felt very sorry for the man in the dark little room, until the pain got worse and they remembered he was killing them. Eventually they started falling apart. They drooped to try to reach for their fallen petals, but it was too late. They were thrown away, living with the trash until the pain went away, taking their lives with it.
Wow. Now we have a very exciting presentation composed of Miles Colescott and Keenan Kennedy. Come on up, guys. You don't need the stool, do you?
Nope. We're tall.
You're tall. Do you know how to use the mic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this we did in camp, and we both kind of, one of us wrote questions, the other wrote answers, and without knowing what the other person would say, so it's totally random, and some of them are pretty funny, so.
All right. And I wrote the questions. Okay. People sat on their heads.
I would die.
If all organisms were made of wood.
Then I would become a deranged hermit.
If Donald Trump was president.
I would eat a cookie.
If humans were nocturnal.
There would be no cars at the dealerships.
If someone of the opposite gender controls your mind.
I would hide in the panic room.
And now, Luke Ellinghaus. Please, would you please? Oh, you're a darling.
All right.
Okay, so I wrote 2 of them. The first one is called Collection. The tiger sits so still and so menacing, yet so peaceful and toothy. The turtle stares with its big, glossy eyes. The jaguar is frozen in time, ready to attack with his long, sharp fangs. The machine in the corner of the room is begging for someone to turn it on. The other objects in the room sit motionless. Collection. And then this one is called Different World. It's pretty much just about imagination. It's a different world in my mind. Here there is darkness and shame, tears of hunger and sadness, but I see another place in my mind filled to the brim with imagination. It's not Tomorrowland, though. Take a second and make a world where everything you ever dreamed of is reality. I'm walking on the beach with 2 of my very favorite 60s beach movie stars. I've used my magical powers to travel to the 1960s. Everywhere I look, there is surf, sand, and sun. What do you dream of? And then my friend couldn't make it here, but I'm going to read her poems. Her name is Zoe Sampson. This one is called War. Once clean and new, uniform hung old and dirty to the man's frame, covered in mud, tears, and blood. Once bright and spry eyes, now dead and dim. Having seen death, horror, and sorrow, we say the war is over, he thinks. So why am I in my uniform, my tool of death by my side, my medal won for killing on my chest? It is a memory of war. Then the other one she wrote was called Silence. The woods are so silent, at the same time so loud. Silence can drive one insane. I wish so much for a sound, the chirp of a bird, rustle of leaves, anything. But no, all I hear is silence, screaming, it's too loud.
I'm not the author, but I do want to read you a poem from a student in my class because this guy was rough and tumble. You know, he was parkour and skateboard, and he entitled the poem, "A Parrot Among the Ravens." That's so beautiful. So, this is A Parrot Among the Ravens. I'm a snowboarder, a skateboarder, a trampoline and tumbler, a downhill mountain biker, a falfer and a writer. When I grow up, I will be a trampoline and tumbling champion, a downhill mountain biking champion. I will go to the X Games for snowboarding and skateboarding. I love the lush green forest, maple donuts, building things, designing things, landscaping, and looking at cars with my dad. I like modern technology and modern design. I am the light inside the shadow, the pop of color on blank paper. I am a parrot among the ravens. I'm a risk taker. I stand out among the rest. So this Renaissance sport came up with incredible writing. A parrot among the ravens. And then I have one more I'd like to share with you. And this one is called Keep Calm. Keep calm even if your mom forgets your middle name. Keep calm if there's a vulture on your head. Keep calm if you have to recite this poem to over 50 people. That was Chloe Smith, and the first boy was Elliot, Thornblade. There we go. So, I was wondering if any of the readers have a friend's poem they'd like to read, or if any of the adults would like to read? Come on up. You will? Good.
All right, this is by Claire Powell. It's called Any Day. Any day I would want to take a walk with my great-grandma or read a book we both like and love. Any day I would want to go fishing with my grandpa or plant plants in my garden. Any day I would want to build sand castles in the sand with my cousin or play Tickle Wars. But sadly, my great-grandma passed away, my grandpa lives in Maryland, and my cousin's away at college. But I still hope. This one is by Griffin Kinch, and his older sister helped us out at camp. Shelby was great this year. So, Sounds of the Swan. The swan, alone on the pond, sings a melancholy sound, saddened by the quiet air enveloping the water.
I'm going to read a brief one by Bailey Doyle called Captive. Can you hear me so I don't have to use the mic? Yeah. You need me to. Only one person, but okay. Captive. A field of pale, dry grass stretches endlessly before me. Somewhere in the distance, a crackle of fire is heard. The clouds have frozen, and a bird stops mid-flight. My dream, in chains, holds me captive. The sky fades from purple to blue. There's a hint of stars in that cold, dark sky. This is my dream where time holds me captive. Writers, and so, you know, if parents or other teachers like Robert Lee want to share, that would be lovely.
Well, quite a few of the readers tonight were in my class, so thank you guys for showing up and being brave. Nicole Emlin wrote this one. What am I? Am I the bird singing like a choir, dancing about in the air? Am I the squirrel begging for something to eat, watching your food with brown eyes? Am I the leaf falling from my home, scared of what will become of me? Am I the dog crouching down with a playful look in my eyes? Am I the wind blowing through life, dragging anything I can along? Am I the fox slitting my eyes, waiting to pounce on my next meal? No, no, how could I be? I wish, but no, I am the girl watching the birds singing like it's their last day. I am the girl eating the food that squirrel is fixated on. I am the girl snatching the leaf out of the air, studying its life. I am the girl facing the dog, playing along. I am the girl dancing with the waving of the wind. I am the girl watching the fox, observing its stealth. Yes, I am the girl.
Do we have another writer who teaches children and has been with us for nearly 2 decades that would share from mythology?
No pressure.
And I have these stupid dark glasses on because I had an eyeball incident, and they're like an old prescription, so I don't see very well, so bear with me as I really try to look at these words. I didn't prepare for this, of course, so I just turned to our group. Good job, guys, wherever they are, with that tag team reading. That was beautiful. This is a poem that Susan Sears wrote. She was one of the girls in my group. Sitting, staring at the lake, lazing around like a piece of furniture, eating chips with a hard crunch, the taste coming just milliseconds later. Toes dangle off the side of the dock for the sea monster to eat. The island beckons me to come, so I plan with my cousins. We take the kayak out over the murky water, who knows how deep. We arrive at the shore and climb on the rocks till the sun goes to bed, leaving a rusty glow. We paddle back across the lake in the dark. The fish are asleep. We are not awake. Our hearts are, but our minds are not. The crickets create an orchestra of chirps. As I flop into bed, staring at the ceiling, I remember the music of the trees. And as I drift to sleep, the memories of today melt around me, wrapping me up in a cocoon of smiles. But they're all sweet poems, and you shall enjoy reading this. The last page here is a couple by Bailey Doyle. So I'll read one of hers since I'm standing here. Captive. A field of pale, dry grass stretches endlessly before me. Somewhere in the distance, a crackle of fire is heard. The clouds have frozen and a bird stops mid-flight. My dream in chains holds me captive. The sky fades from blue to purple. There's a hint of stars in the cold, dark sky. This is my dream, where time holds me captive.
Till the tall people have been here. My name is Carolyn Patterson, and I'm the lucky person that is the executive director of this organization with these incredibly talented writers and kids. And it's a great privilege, and I thank you all for bringing your kids to this camp. It was a great fun and a great success this year. And I thought I'd just wrap this up by reading this poem by Nicole Emlyn called Starry Night. It swirls up into the sky like pixie dust. The stars are shining like miniature suns. The buildings down below, paralyzed under the glare of the moon. The mountains rolling behind like they are running from something. The darkness of the sky makes the stars and the moon compete even more. The trees, bushes, snaking up toward the sky, destined to reach the top. The black lines make the night sky look burnt, like a marshmallow by a warm campfire at night. The starry night, exploding into pixie dust. Thank you.
So enjoy, there's goldfish and juice
Gummy
and
bears.
Gummy bears, not forgetting. And so please enjoy yourself and get to know each other. Thank you for coming, all of you. Yeah, gummy bears.